Hi, good day. My name is Marc Jenkins, and hopefully your next realtor. And I want to congratulate you in advance for your next home purchase. Let's be honest, buying a home in today's market is no easy task, especially with all the changes like mortgage rates and prices. I know you've got enough on your plate trying to buy a home, but I know you're going to be successful. And that's my reason for creating this video guide today. In this video, I'm going to explain what it's like buying a home in today's market, from the updated commission structure to how to get pre-qualified and the entire home buying process. We're going to explain exactly what it's like buying a home with me as your realtor successfully and being able to beat out the challenges that today's market presents. But before we get started, I want to point out some helpful links at the bottom of your screen. If you need any type of assistance from us, you can find most of the links that you'll need below at my Linktree page. There you'll find information on how to get down payment assistance, how to access our website, and even how to fill in the application to get pre-approved with one of our preferred lenders. So be sure to write this down, keep this, and of course share it with friends and family when they need services from us. And also, I've included my personal number at the bottom of your screen. Should you have any questions, you can always call me. This is literally the same number that my wife and mother have, so you can always get in contact with me if you have questions about your home search or just the process in general. I'm always available to help you along the way. So give me a call, shoot me a text if you need anything. There are no stupid questions and you're never bothering me. Now, let's get started. Now, this guide that we have created for you is called Buying Your Dream Home in Today's Market. And like I said before, it's going to cover A to Z of everything that's going on with today's market and the buying process and how to make this easy and simple and straightforward for you. Now, before we get started, I think it's important that you know not only who I am as a realtor, but who I am as a person. Because at the end of the day, it's always been my belief that you shouldn't choose a realtor based on how they look or if they're your friend. You should choose them on who they are and what they bring to the table. Now, feel free to pause this part of the video and of course read about me. But I also want to let you know that in almost 8 years of doing business here in the Metro Atlanta area, and I'm very proud of this, we haven't received anything but a 5-star review. Now, this doesn't make us perfect. I believe that nobody is perfect. But one thing that we take into consideration always when working with clients in real estate are two main tenets that we run our business off of. Number one is being trustworthy. And being trustworthy in real estate just essentially means that we're going to do what we say we're going to do for you. We're going to provide all the information available on the homes that you're looking at. We're going to guide you along the way with honesty and truth, and we're never going to push you to do a transaction or to buy a home just because we want commission. At the end of the day, our job is to help you find the right home in the right condition and of course at the right price. And the second pillar of our business is just being convenient. We believe that making this process easy for you is going to make this process less stressful for you. So of course, we want you to know in advance what the home buying process is like. And we also have the team, the tools, and the technology to make this easy for you. We have in-house team members that are always there should you have any questions or concerns. Our lenders that we work with are very friendly, very professional, and of course, very knowledgeable. And even our home inspectors are all dedicated to making sure that the house that you find is in the condition that you expect. And of course, if there are any things that you need to know about that house, that they're disclosed to you in advance, so you can make the best decision for you and your family. And I am also a native of the Metro Atlanta area, so I know these neighborhoods very well, can help you out in understanding them if you don't. And I'm super excited to give you the best process and experience ever when you're buying your next home with me. Now let's talk about the entire home buying process, because whether you've purchased a home before or this is your first time purchasing a home, it's very important that you understand every single step of the process so you don't skip anything and you're not caught off guard by anything that comes along the way. And we'll start from the left column, working our way through this process to the right. Now, at the top of the left column, you have what you're doing today. Well, hopefully what you're doing today is selecting a real estate agent. That should be the first thing that you do in your home buying process. Listen, I know that buying a home seems like a simple thing, but at the end of the day, some of you are making a $3, $4, or maybe even $500,000 or $600,000 decision. And it's very important that you hire the right professional to make sure that this process goes smooth, easy, and successful for you and your family. After that, the next important step is to analyze your needs and a buyer's consultation. So some of you have already spoken with our team to talk about what you're looking for. If you haven't, definitely get in contact with us. Let's get something scheduled so we can find out exactly what you need for your next home through your buyer's consultation. After that, it's important that you get pre-qualified or pre-approved to find your next home. We'll talk about exactly why that's important later on in this guide, but just know that that's the third step in the home buying process, getting pre-qualified and getting pre-approved. Now, after you've got your pre-approval, then it's time to get out and actually go start seeing homes in person. It's important that you get your pre-approval before you go start seeing homes, because the last thing that you want to do is go find your dream home and realize, well, you're not qualified for that amount. So getting pre-qualified before just make sure that you know exactly how much home you can afford and avoids making mistakes or setting unrealistic expectations. Now, once we've found your dream home or the home that you're going to be living in, we are going to write an offer to purchase. Now, this part of the process is extremely important because your purchase offer is going to contain things like, of course, the purchase price, closing costs. So those are the amount of costs that you're asking the seller to pay for you on your behalf. It's going to include things like earnest money, closing date, how long you plan to inspect the home, as well as detail to the seller how you're going to be paying for the home, whether it's going to be cash or through a loan. And also it gives the seller a deadline to respond to your offer or it will expire. After we've made your offer, it's very likely that we'll go through a period of negotiating because as your realtor, I'm going to be very aggressive when it comes to making an offer for your home. So I'm definitely going to try to negotiate the price down to get you a better deal, as well as get as much as possible in seller provided closing costs. So very often we'll be negotiating. One thing I want to bring up about today's market is because of the amount of inventory that we have compared to the last couple of years, sellers are in the position to where they have to negotiate. So very often we're going to go for 3% of the purchase price and closing costs provided to you. So just a rule of thumb, if you are making a purchase on a $400,000 home, we're going to ask the seller to give you $12,000 in closing costs. And I'm extremely confident that we'll be able to get that. But just expect that after we make an offer to purchase your home, the next step in the process is going to be doing some negotiating. Now, assuming that we win those negotiations, because I'm an extremely competitive realtor and I love to win the deal for our clients, then our contract is going to be accepted. Now, once our contract is accepted, you're going to have a certain amount of days that you'll know in advance that you have to submit the earnest money. For those of you who do not understand what earnest money is, think of earnest money as part of your down payment and also a good faith payment towards keeping the contract in place. Usually that's going to be wired to the closing attorney, but there are other methods that you can submit your earnest money, but 90% of the time, you're going to end up wiring your earnest money to the closing attorney where they'll keep it for you, and it is part of your down payment. So that money is actually credited back to you at closing. Now, after your contract has been accepted, we're going to go into a period which is called the due diligence period. I want you to think of that as like an inspection or a free look period. So let's say in this example, the due diligence period is 7 days. In those 7 days, you're going to conduct your home inspection, going to drive by the property, see it at daytime, see it at nighttime, make sure that you really are in love with the property. And in the event that you aren't, during the due diligence period, you have the right to terminate a contract. And if you do terminate a contract during the due diligence period, then your earnest money will be returned to you in full and you won't lose anything unless you have already spent the money on the inspection, which is non-refundable. But it makes sense to spend a couple $100 getting your home inspected before just buying a lemon and then regretting the entire process. During the home inspection, it's very likely that you're going to get probably an 80 to 100 plus page report about everything that's going on in that home. The home inspection is probably the most important part of this process because a licensed inspector is going to look at all of the components of your next home to make sure that they're in proper working order, or also notify you if they need maintenance or they are no longer in working condition. The home inspection covers things like the roof, foundation, electrical, plumbing, wood rot, mold, all of the appliances, and any other hazards or maintenance that you would love to know about as a homeowner. After we receive your inspection report back and had the chance to review it, you have 3 options. Number one, you can ask the seller to fix the price. This means asking the seller to reduce the price to reflect any errors or problems that you found on the inspection. Your second option is to ask the seller to fix the property. So for example, let's say that the dishwasher isn't working. We're going to ask the seller to fix the dishwasher for you. And the third option, if they don't agree with option number one or number two, is just to walk away. In today's market, as your realtor, I don't believe in letting the seller just tell you no, they won't fix certain things that come up on your inspection report. So if they're not willing to play ball with us, then we can always walk away, get your earnest money back, and then find the next property that's right for you. But ultimately, that's your choice. Assuming that we've resolved any issues by this point, then we'll exit due diligence and now you'll be fully under contract. And that brings us to the far right column. At the top is everything that you're going to be doing with the lender. So that's obtaining your final mortgage approval, having your credit checked again, going through underwriting, getting an appraisal, survey, and also getting your homeowner's insurance. One important thing that I want to point out in this part of the process is getting an appraisal. So the appraisal protects you from having to essentially overpay for a property. So when you have an appraisal, a licensed appraiser is going to come out to the property that we've already put under contract. And let's just say, for example, you're buying a home for $450,000. And the appraiser says, well, Mr. Homebuyer or Mrs. Homebuyer, this property is only worth $400,000. After we receive that appraisal report back, we're going to ask the seller to reduce the price to the appraised value. In the event that the seller does not want to reduce the price to the appraised value, you will not be obligated to pay $450,000 or even $1 over the appraised value. If that does happen, you have the right to walk away from this transaction and get your earnest money back. Now, very often sellers ultimately do end up dropping the sales price to the appraised value because that appraisal is going to stick with the property for several months, whether they sell it to you or not. So it's in their best interest most times to actually drop the sales price to the appraised value. I just wanted to bring that up about a home appraisal. And finally, after we've gotten through all of those steps, the final 4 steps are going to be done with the closing attorney. So the closing attorney is going to do something which is called a title search. They're going to make sure that there are no long lost cousins that can make a claim to that property after you purchase it. And not only that, they're also going to get title insurance, which also protects you if someone does say that they have a claim to that property and they want to sue you for it. After you make it through those 2 steps, you're going to attain your funds for closing, which, like I mentioned before, is going to be going through the final underwriting process with the lender and also wiring over any down payment or closing costs that you have to pay to complete your purchase over to the closing attorney prior to closing day. And finally, the most fun part of the process, I'll hand you your keys at the closing table. I'll be right there with you while you sign all your documents and purchase your new home. And then we'll take some great photos and then we'll repeat this process over with another client. But this is the entire home buying process from A to Z. Be sure to ask me questions about anything that you may have. Now comes the big question. Why should you buy your home with me? I know that a lot of people have friends, you have members from church, work, the grocery store, everywhere. Metro Atlanta is flooded with all different types of realtors. You have people that are part of teams. You have people that are independent. You have people that are all in between. Why should you buy your home with Marc Jenkins? Well, I'm going to give you 4 reasons. Number 1, technology. Now, I'm a millennial, and I definitely believe in using technology to help you out when it comes to purchasing your home. Now, our biggest use of technology comes through our proprietary home search portal. Instead of you having to go through Zillow or Realtor.com, in your customized home search portal, we present information to you from over 350 search engines and over 76,000 websites to make sure that the information that you're seeing about your next home is correct, it's valid, and of course, it's updated 24/7. So it is the most up-to-date place to search for your home. And the second most important thing about buying a home with me is I'm going to make this extremely convenient for you with a very streamlined process. Buying a home isn't the most convenient thing to do, but we make it easy for you with showing assistance, a team that is dedicated and accessible to always address your needs. And we also maintain a great level of communication between the lender, home inspector, showing assistance, you name it. Everybody that is going to be working with you in the process of buying your home We are all constantly having communications about how to make this easier and more stress-free for you. The third most important thing about buying a home with me is the experience that we bring to the table. As I've mentioned before, we've been selling real estate here for over 7 years here in Metro Atlanta, and we bring a ton of experience to the table. We've done plenty of transactions, from people buying their first home to people buying luxury homes, and so has my team. We've been working with the same home inspector for over 5 years, and all of our lenders have a wealth of experience. And let's be honest, when you are making a decision that is going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars, you really want somebody on your side who is experienced in getting the job done correctly. And the fourth thing that you get when working with me as your realtor is fidelity. Now, I know that that probably goes overlooked in today's times because there are so many scams, there's so many things happening in Metro Atlanta. But seriously, I am a trustworthy realtor, and I'm always going to be honest with you throughout this process. I've seen things over the last couple of years when it comes to real estate that would probably make people pretty upset if they knew the truth about who they were working with, from people advising people to go 25, 30, or even $50,000 over asking price, to some realtors even rushing their clients to make a decision so they can get paid. We don't do that over here. Our reputation speaks for itself, and so do our past clients. We provide a high level of fidelity and trustworthiness when working together to find your home, because at the end of the day, it's your house. I want you to feel secure in what you're doing, and also be confident that you're making the right decision when you find the right home. So I hope to earn your business as your next realtor. And these are just 4 reasons among many why I know that I'm a great fit for you and your family. Now, there are 3 ways that we help people buy a home in today's market. The majority of you watching this video will be just fine going with the traditional mortgage. So that is, we put you with a lender, get you pre-qualified, and we use a traditional FHA or conventional mortgage to be able to help you make your home purchase. We also offer USDA loans where you don't have a down payment if you're buying in the rural area, and also jumbo loans if you're buying luxury real estate here in Metro Atlanta. The other 2 options that we provide help you be a little bit more competitive should you and say 5 or 6 other people fall in love with the same home and you get in a multiple offer situation. These other 2 options help you win that deal versus having to lose your dream home. The second option is called backed by cash, and that's a traditional mortgage with a cash guarantee. So that essentially says that you as a buyer, even if you decide that you're not going to buy that home or something happens with your financing, that will still be able to purchase that home with cash no matter what happens. This gives sellers the ultimate thing that they want, which is confidence that their home is actually going to be sold. And this, of course, in a multiple offer situation, will make your offer a lot more attractive than who you're competing against. And the third option is, of course, buying with cash. Those people that have seen what happened over the last couple of years, especially in like 2022, when there were a ton of multiple offers, the people who were actually able to secure those homes were those buying with cash. And obviously, everybody doesn't have $300,000 or $400,000 worth of cash. But with one of our products and options that we provide to our clients, you are essentially able to buy that home with cash and jump over anyone else in line that is buying with financing. Now let's talk about getting pre-approved, all right? So a lot of people always ask, well, what is a pre-approval? Well, a pre-approval is just a preliminary commitment from a lender in writing stating that you qualify for a certain amount to purchase a home. It is very important that you get pre-approved early in the process. And the number one reason why it's important is so that you can get an accurate idea of how much home that you can afford. The worst thing that you can do as a potential home buyer is to just guess and say, hey, well, I feel like I can afford a home for $2,000 a month, and go start shopping for a home, because there are several factors when it comes to getting pre-approved for a home. And it's not just based on what you think you can afford on a monthly basis. Also, the pre-approval letter is super essential when it comes down to actually searching for homes. Once you've found the home that you actually want, you want to be able to make an offer on that home and not have to scramble to go get a pre-approval letter after the fact. Let's say you go out this Saturday, you find the home that you want, and you call me and you're like, hey, Mark, I found the home that I really want for myself and my family. but you haven't been pre-qualified yet. Well, that means that we have to take the time, get you with our lender, have you submit the application. They're going to check your credit, collect all of your documents, and then you can make that offer. The problem with that is, what if it's a great home that everyone else loves as well? You would have already missed the opportunity to buy your dream home because you didn't take care of your pre-approval first. Now, the best thing about a pre-approval is that it's actually pretty quick to get one. It only takes about 24 to 48 hours. Now, after you submit your loan application, most lenders are going to be only looking for a couple of things. They are going to ask you to submit your last 2 years tax returns, 30 days of pay stubs, 60 days of bank statements, and they're going to check your credit. Now, a lot of people ask me, what credit score do you need to purchase a home? To be honest, it really varies, but a rule of thumb is you need to at least have a 580. Of course, the higher the better, because you can get a lower interest rate with a better credit score. And then also, if you're thinking about using down payment assistance to purchase a home, you probably want to have your credit score at least in the 640 to 650 or higher range to access a lot of these programs. But once again, we have something that fits every credit profile, or at least a plan to help you get there if your credit score is too low. Also, keep in mind that getting pre-approved is free. We don't charge you to check your credit. We don't charge you to get pre-approved. There is zero fee to get pre-approved. And in the event that you can't get pre-approved, our lenders are going to let you know exactly why you can't get pre-approved and also help you create a plan. So the common reason why people can't get pre-approved is because they have errors on their credit report or their credit score is too low. If any of those things come up, please let me know, because we have an in-house credit repair team, and it's not one of those people online that are like scamming people. This is actually a real company that is going to help you improve your credit. And then we also have another thing called trade lines, which we can add to your credit. That is a conversation that we'll have one-on-one. But just know, if you have errors on your credit, we can help you improve that so we can get you and your family into a home. The second reason why people can't get pre-approved is what's called a debt to income ratio. That is just a ratio of how much debt you have to how much income you have. Let's say, for example, you make $8,000 a month together or in your household, and you have a $1,000 car payment and $3,000 payment of student loans. I know that's not what everybody has, but believe me, we've seen it. In that scenario, you would have $4,000 worth of debt, $8,000 worth of income, and then your debt to income ratio would be 50%. For some lenders and some programs, that's just essentially too high for you to be able to get a home. We have tons of lenders available, and I know that we put people in homes all the time to have a DTI of 50%, but I'm just giving you an idea on the second reason why some people don't get pre-qualified or pre-approved. It's because of their debt to income ratio. And of course, there are calculators online to where you can actually calculate your debt to income ratio on your own, should you want to know in advance before you get pre-approved. Now, once we've gotten you pre-approved, now this is where the fun begins. We start viewing properties and finding the right one. Now, the number one complaint that we get from buyers when they're looking for a home is what's called buyer fatigue. I always tell my clients that you will get tired of seeing homes before I do. And people always laugh, but it's true. I'll never get tired of seeing homes, but I'm sure you will. Now, my goal is to make this as easy as possible. And I believe that you should only choose to see homes in person that you rate on the scale of 1 to 10, an 8 or above online. So if you see a home and you like, that's a 6, shouldn't waste your time in going to see it. But if you see a home that you're like, hey, honey, I love this home, this is a 9 or a 10, of course, let's get it scheduled. All right. Now, when you find homes that you see, it's important that you send me the list of those homes ASAP. You can text them to the number that was on the screen earlier. You can send it to my assistant. You can email me, but you need to get that list over to us as soon as possible so we can get you in there, and also the times and days that you're available. Now, the average buyer looks at 2 to 3 homes before making the offer and writes about 1 to 3 offers before actually getting their offer accepted by the seller. And the best part about working with us is that we have showing assistants that are available. So with a lot of realtors, if your schedule doesn't match their schedule, you're not going to be able to see that home. The tough part about that is What if it's the home that's a perfect fit for you and your family and they're not available and someone else is? They go see the home, put a contract in, and now you have to look for another home. With us, we have showing assistants that are always available within about 90 minutes advance notice, and we can get you out to see any home here in the Metro Atlanta area. Isn't that great? Now I want to briefly cover the type of homes that are available. We work for all homes that are available for sale here in Metro Atlanta, and those are resale homes, new construction homes, and also for sale by owners and foreclosures. So resale homes are just homes, condos, or townhomes that are on the market and have been lived in by a previous owner. If you visit an open house, be sure to tell the agent that you're represented by me and give them one of my cards. That way, the agent will call me and not bother you. We also work with new construction homes, and of course, these are brand new homes being offered by the builder. These include to-be built homes as well as inventory or spec homes. Now, I want to caution you, when you go visit a new construction property, you need to very much understand that agent that is inside that model home, as nice as they're going to be to you, they're going to offer you water, candy, chips, the whole nine, right? They are there to represent the builder and not you. So it's very important that if you are interested in new construction homes, that you still take myself or one of my team members along with you to make sure that you're represented properly. It's the equivalent of going to court, going against a DA by yourself. They may help you understand certain things about what's going on, but they are not there to represent you. I can't stress this enough. And lastly, if you are interested in for sale by owner or a foreclosure, it's also extremely important that you do not go alone. For sale by owners, they're always going to tell you that you and them can handle the transaction without an agent involved. You should definitely always let them know that you have an agent, you want me to be involved, and if they ask why, you should just let them know that you have proper and fair representation and you just want to make sure that you're protected. It's always good to call us first if you are interested in the for sale by owner or foreclosure. I actually love working with for sale by owners because we always beat them in negotiations and get people the best deals. So if you see them, give us a call. We'll be glad to help you out with acquiring one of those homes. And then foreclosures, they are available here in Georgia. It's just that they're like few and far in between. Georgia is what's called a non-judicial state. So any foreclosures are still going to go into the MLS or onto an auction site. You're not going to be able to buy loan foreclosures at the local courthouse like you can do in many states. You're going to have to go online, still bid on them. And some of them show up in the MLS and are sold just like a regular home, and most people don't even know that they're foreclosures. But the number one thing is, regardless of what kind of home that you find that's available that might work for you and your family, always be sure to contact us so we can be there to represent you in the process. Because if they're not representing you, they're representing against you. Now, after we found a home that looks like a potential fit for you and your family, there are 4 very important things that we do before making an offer. Number 1, we're going to pull all the disclosures available. So very often when you find your dream home, there is what's called a seller's property disclosure available for that home, and that details everything that the seller knows about the property. For some of the simpler things of like when the home was built, to some of the more complex things about how old is the roof, how old is the water heater, have there been any insurance claims filed on that property. We are going to get this information in advance so you can review it before making an offer. The second thing that we're going to do before making an offer is do what's called a comparative market analysis. That is a very fancy way of saying that we're going to make sure that you're not overpaying for the property. So we're going to look at the recent sales of homes that are similar and help you come up with the right price that you should offer for this home. Now, of course, it's your money. You can decide to offer as much as you would like, but we're at least going to provide our estimation of the price of the home to make sure that you get the right deal. The next thing that we do that may actually seem old-fashioned is actually call and build a rapport with the listing agent. You'd be surprised at how many people in this day of technology will not pick up the phone and actually speak with someone and let them know that their client is going to be submitting an offer. And you'd also be surprised at how effective that is. I've won several deals over my years of experience in real estate just by talking with the agent and letting them know our client's intentions, telling them not only about our client, but also letting them know that they're well qualified, how much they love the home, and also finding out information about where their seller is in terms of selling the house. Are they motivated? Are they getting tired of being on the market? All of this information is important to have up front before making an offer. And the last thing that we do before making an offer is actually have your lender call the listing agent. Another thing that we don't see a lot of agents do in this market, but I'm going to have your lender actually call the listing agent and tell them how great of a candidate that you are. Let them know that you've already been through pre-underwriting, you've already submitted all your docs, and that your credit score and everything is in order. The goal of doing this is to make sure that the listing agent and the seller are confident in accepting your offer, because when they're confident in accepting your offer, you're going to jump the line should there be any other offers that are pending for that same home that you and your family want. Now, one of the biggest things that have changed in real estate recently is the commission structure. I'm not going to go into really deep details about the lawsuits that have changed in this industry, but what I am going to let you know is that my commission rate is 3% plus a $499 admin fee. This reflects the quality and dedication of my services, which I believe are well worth it. Now, it's important to note that some sellers may agree to cover all of my commission, some may not. In cases where the seller does not agree to cover the entire commission, you will be responsible for the remaining payment. However, you always have the option to negotiate with the seller to include my commission as part of the offer that you make. And it's worth mentioning that the sellers have the right to accept or decline these requests. Now, in my recent experience, since these laws have changed, sellers are a lot more likely to actually pay your agent's commission because they know that you as a buyer don't want to be on the hook to paying an extra portion of commission on top of your down payment and closing costs. So this isn't to scare you. This is just really to prepare you to what we're going to be doing in the event that the seller is not willing to compensate your great agent their entire commission. Now, before we visit any properties, I'm going to inform you about the portion, if any, of my commission that the seller has agreed to cover. So if we're going to see 123 Apple Street and the seller has said, hey, we're not going to pay any commission, I will let you know this in advance. That way you're not caught off guard should you decide to make an offer and we have to negotiate this as part of your offer. It's nothing to be afraid of because we provide a lot of experience and a lot of services to you when you're buying a home with us. And we just want you to know that things have changed when it comes to commission, but I'm still going to make this, of course, as easy as possible for you and your family. Now, here are the services that you receive when working together with us, because I know a lot of people are like, well, what do we get for that 3%? And I totally understand. You should always ask what you're getting for the money that you're spending or for the money that someone's receiving by working with you. So here's some of the services that you'll receive. And of course, realtors, we wear several hats. Sometimes we play therapists as well throughout the process. But here are the services that you'll receive. So you'll receive an initial consultation. We'll do things like market analysis, help you understand what's going on with the market. Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? What are people paying? Things of that nature. Will help you view properties. For some people, this is 20 or 30 properties. And for some people, it may only be 5. We help you prepare offer, making sure that you have something that's competitive, getting you under contract. We negotiate on your behalf. We also do things like review contracts with you, something that you would probably have to pay an attorney a ton of money, but we're going to review the contracts with you to make sure that you understand everything that you're signing. We'll coordinate your home inspection with inspectors, address any contingencies, help you with getting a loan, title search, preparing for closings, doing your final walkthrough, representing you at closing. After closing, we also help out with a lot of things because people have things in their house sometimes that they need to fix. They need new contractors. And of course, I'll be following up with you as time goes on to make sure that you're still happy, satisfied, and just make sure if you need anything in the home that we've got those needs addressed. Now, as we've reached this part of the guide, I'm sure you're wondering what's next. There are 5 simple steps for helping you get ready for your next move. Step number 1 is giving me permission to find your next home. I hope after this guide, I've explained enough to really win your business. And so I'm asking you to go ahead and hire me as your next realtor for your dream home. After you've decided to hire me, we're going to go ahead and get you pre-approved with our lender. You don't necessarily have to work with our lender. You can work with anyone that you would like. But we also have some great lenders with great rates that we have tons of experience working with, and that experience working with them makes the process easier for you. Once we've gotten you set up with our lender, we're going to get you set up with your personalized home search portal. Then we're going to meet again to personalize your home buying timeline. I'm going to outline every single step, when it needs to be done, so we make sure we keep this process on track and get you in your home on time. And lastly, after we do that, we're going to start viewing homes in person and making offers on the ones that you love. And that's it. If you made it this far in the guide, be sure to like this video, share it with others. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. And I hope that you learned a ton about buying your next home with me. And I hope that you're convinced in hiring me as your next realtor. If you need anything or have any questions, you can reach me at the links below, or you can just give me a call at the number below so we can get started helping you find your next home in Metro Atlanta. I'm Marc Jenkins. Thanks again. This is a trusted realtor. Deal closed.